Right on. Well, you guys have some technical difficulties there with your hotel. Whereabouts are you?
So right now we are Team PNW are in North Carolina. The eye of Hurricane Ian is about to pass over us here pretty soon. We haven't had power in probably I think an hour.
Couple hours.
Or 2 hours. We're pretty much on a deserted island right now.
We showered in the dark. It was weird, but also liberating.
Yeah, so on the video, you won't really be able to see him very well because the power's out, but we have Riley Kirkpatrick, Brian Strelow, Jesse Wilson, and Troy Wood. So this will probably mostly just be for audio purposes, but the video will be there.
Yeah, we still thought we were supposed to do podcasts with other people, but it's like stuff just keeps on happening. And so we decided kind of last minute to throw this one together. That we were in North Carolina at a competition at a WCB event. That's a team event where it's 4 people. We've kind of gone over it before, what it's about, and we're 2 days in right now of a 3-day contest.
So what was the first day?
Draft day. So we had draft day was just right off the bat. The horse wasn't great to do. You could barely pick his feet up.
Pig.
And you don't want to blame.
He was just stubborn or?
Oh yeah.
Pig.
Yeah, he was just super heavy, just planted his feet onto the ground. It was not wasn't much. You just he's one of those horses once you did get his feet up, you didn't want to let him put his foot back down.
Right.
So it was pretty rough. It wasn't a great.
What did you think, Troy?
It wasn't much fun for the hindfoot guys, but thankfully Strelow and we were on the fronts, so we didn't have a wrestling match.
I'm not very tough, so I was thankful. But poor Jesse was getting folded in half the entire go. I mean, it was like watching Mike Tyson just punch somebody in the belly over and over and over again.
On the left hind.
On the left, horse was really, really, really bad on the left hind.
That's a pretty.
What
good
do you think was that was about, Jesse?
He was probably had some discomfort and a little bit stubbornness, a little bit uncomfortable, and you go to reach down to pick up the foot, and he'd lift the other one up off the ground. He had no intentions of bringing that foot up, so he just.
Dang.
That
does not sound fun.
Yeah, there was some deformities in the feet that would indicate he spends a lot of time standing on that one too. So
standing on the left.
Yeah.
Damn. So he wasn't that bad for on the right hind, Riley?
Well, no, he really he just once on the right hind. Once you got his foot up, he was pretty okay. He obviously wasn't great. He was just heavy.
Yeah.
He wasn't standing there for you, but once you got his foot, it was just a pain in getting his foot up. He just planted his foot on the ground, so you kind of had to wrestle with him a little bit, get it up, get through those couple they always do they give you a couple shags, see if you're serious about keeping it up or not. And you just gotta last through those couple, and then he'd let you have it for a little while. It wasn't too bad.
Draft horses are the hardest to play against with that game because they just have so much strength.
Oh, yeah, when that horse weighs 2,000 pounds and they're just gently trying to see if you're serious or not, it's a pretty serious situation.
And they were
our tiny little asses don't.
They were good-looking, muscled-up horses too. So they weren't.
Really?
Oh yeah, they definitely weren't slouches.
They were well fed.
So definitely at a contest, the luck of the draw, plays a part in that too, as far as necessarily
we weren't the only ones that had
oh really?
Yeah, it's just man, that's just and that's just draft horses in general are kind of like that.
So was it a Belgian or what kind of draft was it?
No, I think he was just a big Belgian.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a light one.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of feathering on his legs, so that made it hard because you couldn't really grab onto something.
To grab.
Yeah, you were having to get your hands around the fetlock or the pastern area, and
I did notice that in the pictures you guys sent me that there was no hair there, so I was thinking they must have been pretty well taken care of.
Yeah,
horses,
they had them all trimmed up just for cleanliness. They use them for pulling wagons and corn mazes and stuff like that. And
oh, okay. Were any of the horses that came in, were they like shod up to that point? Or were they all barefoot when they walked up?
I don't think we pulled any draft shoes.
Yeah,
I think all the drafts were barefoot.
I think they were all barefoot.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that kind of makes it an even playing field amongst everybody too, then, huh?
Yeah, but they were feet that looked barefoot. You too, like my foot probably had was the easiest to nail into. Like it had the most hoof wall. Like and like
Oh, really?
the most consistent hoof wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there were a lot of cracks and a lot of the feet, a lot of missing parts.
Yeah,
and so like a lot of the shoes
deviations.
that were nailed that were put on, they were punched accordingly. So like there wasn't like 3 nails in a branch in a row in a lot of shoes. There was a lot of spaces because of hoof wall integrity compromised.
And so for like Troy, like
Yeah,
that was a little bit of like a mind fuck.
a little bit. I staggered my nail line on my lateral, and it panned out, thankfully. It could be a challenge, like not having a normal conventional nail placement on a draft shoe like that and still showing intention. But it panned out, thankfully, and I stayed away from the junk and didn't hit a crack with any of the nails. So that was pretty good.
I'll post a picture up here so anybody watching can see this. But how did you go about figuring out how you're going to place those nails like that, Troy? Like on that lateral side with them way back that far?
I just looked at the foot and knew where I wanted to stay away from. And
did you have like the shoe built before? Did you like measure, or how did you kind of go about it?
kind of eyeballed it.
Just eyeballed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was kind of like it was a thing of like, yeah, we're like, that's a lot of times, people are like, it's probably the safe bet, make a blank, and then go ahead and go up and like soapstone where you're gonna put your nail holes, but
Yeah.
also Troy just already had like a pretty good shape built in his shoe. I think it was like it was a pretty easy thing to
To eyeball where that chunk was missing in the foot or whatever.
Yeah, it was pretty like, yeah, I don't know, like a pretty like the easy spot almost, like where it was.
It was right in the quarter, so I knew I wanted to hit the heel quarter with my nails, and then try to like show some intention with the toenails and not make it look racked. So I had one up front and 2 down low.
Yeah, for some reason, like just seeing like that flat spot there where you're trying to intentionally miss like a crack or whatever. To me, it's like eye appealing. I always think it looks kind of cool,
Oh, do you really?
Personally.
It always fucks my eyes up, dude. It's like this big old blank spot.
I know, but to me, I think it looks cool, like, because you got one nail up there, and then there's this big old blank spot, and then there's 2 nails in the back, I don't know. For some reason, I've always thought if it's done right, it looks cool.
Well, not even done right. Like that shoe, I guess it kind of looks okay because it's just like it's straight in between. It looks like it's like a whole piece of bar stock there. Like it's just like such a straight rectangle right in between the nails.
That might be why it looks cool to me. I don't know. It's just something that's just eye appealing to me. That looks different.
Like did it throw your eyes off once the nail holes were in it?
Not really, no.
Okay, Mr. Hotshot.
Yeah, the young gun.
Yeah, no,
big
everything
deal.
is amazing. But
So how much steel did you guys like cut for this horse? Like how big was it?
18 on the fronts, didn't we?
Yeah.
What was that horse? Heel to heel.
It was.
It was like 19.
It was 20 and a quarter, I think, on my foot. 20 and a quarter is where I wanted to fit to.
Heel to heel. What was it?
Well, yeah, I think my actual foot itself was like 19 something, and then I wanted my shoe to be over 20 for length and width. So there was. Yeah.
You ended up cutting 18.
Cut
Both
18.
you guys cut 18.
Yep.
What was it
Nice.
with length and width? You remember?
It was
It's like what? Was it
8 and a quarter wide on my foot, and then I think it was like 8.5 long and 5.5 inches between the heels.
Okay.
So the last time that we spoke, like all 5 of us together, was at Riley's place, and you guys had just gotten done with a team practice where you kind of you were doing like your old the system before, and then you did the tool and forward run where you kind of revised your system. Did you guys kind of stick to the new system that you guys kind of started there, and where Brian was the anchor?
Yeah.
Or the end?
Yeah, that's what we did. That's the system we've done for the first 2 days now, and we're going to stick with it for the third day, because it is.
Yeah.
And we got a little screwy today, but it seems like we've got it kind of like a little bit more figured out, and I think we have a direction to head from here too, which will like free us up in time, and not even free us up in time, but like just break us up in steps a little bit more.
Okay.
So like right now we're starting where me and Jesse are in the fire first, and Troy's on the foot, and Troy gets done with his foot. He comes and gets Jesse, and Jesse go ahead and goes to the foot, and Troy gets in the fire with me. I keep making my shoe. When Jesse's done trimming, he comes and kicks me off. By that time, I pretty much have a shoe forged out. Like, it's pretty rough. And then he kicked me off. I go and trim, and he keeps going on his shoe. And then Brian is the anchor. And when me and Jesse will sometimes end up bottlenecked up in the vise a little bit right now.
Okay.
So we think Jesse had the idea of watching other people go that if we had Brian start in the fire, him and Brian start in the fire, and Brian just like do a bump and toe bend pretty much.
Oh, so it offset you and Jesse just a little bit there.
Just a little bit.
So you're not heat for heat.
Yep.
I see.
Yeah.
And so the whole time, basically, Brian is striking out 3 shoes in a row before he even goes to the foot.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to suck for Brian.
I am a machine. I'm a physical specimen. I'm at my prime in my life. And this is
how do you like being that guy for the team, Brian? Like, is it hard?
Well, it's just become the Brian show now, and I just sit around and ask everybody, "Are you entertained?
Do you need some tickets?"
Yeah. No, I mean, like the last 2 goes we had here, it's nice because I can bounce around a little bit, help a little bit on the foot, and it plays my strengths that way as far as like being a manager at TGI Fridays. Tomorrow will suck as far as actually putting the.
On a side note, wait, pause. We went to TGIF Fridays here. It's the fucking worst.
Oh, really?
Dude. So, like, it's already just, like, a compromise. You know, it's across from the hotel. We go to TGI Fridays, and this girl, the hostess.
The place is empty.
Yeah, the place is fucking empty. There's, like, 5 people in there. And the hostess girl. We got cop lights outside. The hostess girl is just like leaned back, like just so kicked back and relaxed.
She's on her phone.
Feet up on her phone, not startled for us to come in whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah, we're like, can we get a spot? She's like, yeah, just let you know, it's like 20-30 minutes before you guys get food. And we're like, oh, okay. Like, how could we get drinks? And she's like, yeah, 20-30 minutes.
What?
Like, exactly. Like, she's like,
she never put her
nobody
feet
was
down.
in
She
there.
never got off her phone. She was just like, yeah, it's going to be 30 minutes.
Dang.
But like, so it's 30 minutes to just even sit down. She's like, yeah, 20-30 minutes. And like, there's nothing but empty chairs in this place.
God dang.
It's old Applebee's we went. Just disgusting.
So you guys said, screw TGIF, we're going to Applebee's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got right in.
Neighborhood
Applebee's.
Bar and Grill. So happy to take care of us. It was wonderful.
Brian had himself a strawberry banana smoothie.
They didn't have any ice cream, so I went for a smoothie, Gav.
A smoothie is just as fine, right?
And it was so cold I get him brain freeze.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But we definitely, the system was like, we putting Brian at the end of the system was either gonna like go real great, you know, or like being at the end of a system like that, you can kind of be stressed the fuck out because you're all of a sudden like you have to get done for everybody to get a score. But Brian does pretty good in the in the back end of the system.
Well, that's kind of like one good thing about Brian is like he has years of experience competing, so like he knows how to be under pressure, right?
I'm super old.
I'm not saying that.
What is time, Gavin? it's like the Grim Reaper is standing over me the whole time. No, I mean it seems to work out. I mean there's some hiccups and stuff that I think after this contest we will try to get some space, a little bit more space between some of the guys, but having somebody just wait until the very end essentially to get going. It can be a little not frustrating. It's just you want to get into it as well, and your part is just to let everybody else have as good of a go as you can, and you can kind of you are kind of left alone a little bit because by the time you're starting to make your shoe, everybody else is either nailing or hurrying to get finished up, and so but that's not I like not having someone standing over me creating extra stress. So, it's I like the position. I also like starting off. I could go in the middle. I can be. It's however you guys want to do it. Like a little time sandwich.
So diverse.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
So who ends up like striking for you then, Brian?
I do a lot of striking myself.
Does Troy like step in? Troy's gonna be on
no one's there.
Yeah.
I try to help him out.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
down
there's
on
usually
foot.
somebody by a vise or somebody, that's not underneath the horse for a second I can call over and it works out. Like tomorrow's the heaviest striker day, so, we'll just have to be flexible, but I'm not anticipating any problems. I mean, the biggest problem is just my own difficulty with getting nails in the center of stock and stuff, so it's not going to be based on the striker.
That's a to and forward you're talking about?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit hit or miss sometimes.
So how did your foot go, Jesse?
It went all right. It
had some big spaces you had to nail around too.
Yeah. I had some real big.
I did notice that in the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, some real big false quarters I had to skip across, and just the overall shape of the foot was a little bit tough for me to get onto, but everything worked out okay.
Like, what was tough about the shape
Well,
for you?
because it came around the toe, and then it went more, and then it went again, and then I had my quarters. So it's just real long, real late quarters.
I see.
So it was like
So it was almost like a hook at the end?
Kind of. It was
no,
like
not like a Frisian foot.
No, my toe should have been. If the toe of that horse was about 3/4 of an inch back, it would have been a sweet foot.
So what he's saying is, if I would have trimmed it like the draft horse at our practice, he would have nailed it. He would have best shot foot. Boom, starry stand.
Dressed it back.
Sit back. Jesse's taking this trophy home.
It was a really what do you say? Like, it would be like wide if you're looking at it. You know what I mean? It has big quarters.
Oh, okay.
Like just
I see.
very, very.
Well, I'll post a photo on the video there, so everybody else can kind of see how Jesse's looks. And how about yours, Riley? I seen in your picture, you're the only one that kind of had some knife work done.
Yeah, and I'm the only one that should have left my knife in my gosh damn pocket.
Oh, really?
Everyone's calling him Edward Scissorhands.
Oh my god. It was just like one of those things that you're like, well, I could do like a little bit right here, and then you're like, oh fuck, I got to do a little bit more.
Can't stop there, kind of type deal.
Fuck, and you're like, okay, you just got to stop at some point, and you're still not happy with any of it. So, and then like you get walking around looking at other people's feet, you're like, wow, no one knifed. Okay, no one knifed any of these horses. Like, you get a pretty quick reality check.
Are you curious to see like what your footnotes are gonna be like for that day?
Oh, I'm not. It's not like a big surprise. Like, I already talked to the judge. Like, the judges are Adam Farr and Travis Smith, and they're like both guys I know. And it's just like, you know, it's like they let you know kind of end of the day. It's like, you know, like be like, you might want to leave your knife in the pockets today, you know? Because it was even today, the horse that we drew today for 3/4 fuller day didn't need any knife work on him.
Well, in fact, that
I noticed that.
Yeah, today's horse was so short that Troy and Brian had to salad bowl their shoes to get nailed.
Like the whole shoe, or is it more of like
Front
a
half.
rocker?
Yeah, the front half. So like last night there was tossing salads.
It wasn't just a rocker though. It was the whole front half of the shoe.
What kind of horse was it?
Oh, he was like a
Little halflinger.
Yeah, a little halflinger.
Huh.
And he's just real washed out feet, like pretty like feet like we got at home. You know.
So it must have came in barefoot, obviously. Then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some nails.
No,
it
didn't
in
have
with
shoes.
some. Yeah, it
He
came
had
in.
one shoe on.
Yeah,
One shoe.
One
One
shoe,
shoe.
bro.
Wow.
you can imagine how nice the feet were. The nails were still in the feet too.
On that one, or all 4 feet had nails still in
I
them.
think everybody had nails
Yeah.
still.
It had pretty decent wall and everything. Like we all got to do a little dressing on the walls. You just didn't have any sole knife work or anything. But that's like it was okay. Like it just made it quicker. And
No trimming.
Yeah, the horse didn't have like textbook table feet, but like it had those like its hinds were like, you know, where you kind of have like a broad toe, real straight, and then bam, like hooky quarters, like that are really late. Like that.
Kind of like the worst shape you could try to do, like a mule.
Yeah, they are freaking rough. And it's just like today where we fucked up big time is the horse. You know, you even just kind of like even practicing for this, we just practiced a bunch of 3/8 by 1 for 3/4 fuller day.
Okay.
And the horse walking up, you know, is this little halflinger, so he's kind of a heavy horse and kind of like a bony horse. So you're like, okay, you just are still thinking heavy section.
Yep.
And the feet were like at the cusp of like getting to 3/8 by 1 possibly. You know, they're like that 14-inch heel to heelish shape.
So was it like close to like 5 inches wide then?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
my hind foot was 5 1/8 wide, and it was 5 1/2 from toe to lateral heel.
Yeah, so that's like a 12-inch, foot really of 3 3/4 then, huh?
3/8 3/4, but I cut 12 inches of 3/8 by 1,
Yeah.
and it was fucking huge.
Oh, did you guys have to like rasp off a ton?
Oh, I
or was it
rasped.
just like big for the feet.
So much. We all rasped so much.
Mine was amazing.
It was huge.
Are you? I can't tell if you're joking or.
No, I mean,
Being
I
serious.
didn't have to shorten my shoe up at all. But like we cut the same on the front as the hinds did.
Our sections were huge.
And their feet were quite a bit smaller. Like my foot, before I trimmed it, before I lowered the heels, was 14 1/4 heel to heel. So I wanted a finished shoe that would be at least 14 3/4, close to 15, which for me doing that shoe, I get about 3 inches of growth. So the 12 inches were kind of in the right spot. What needed to be done is I needed to make a 7/8 by 3/8 shoe, which would require more stretching. So probably they're closer to around 11 inches would have been sweet, and then run up in the straight to create the section, and then make a horseshoe. So or we would have taken 2 to 3 bumps in a toe to try and make it look appropriate, because it wasn't one of those cusps. Right around 14 1/2 inches heel to heel for me when I'm making shoes. That's that. Depending on the foot, you're either going from 3/8 3/4 or 3/8 by 1, and so you either are running up 3/8 by 1 or you're bumping a bunch into 3/8 3/4, and so.
Those are always like the toughest to come upon, like in a contest setting, I bet.
Well, it's just tough, and then like
from me anyways.
like Riley said, we just practiced a 3/8 by 1, and we really didn't do a good job practicing making that narrower section.
Not a 3/8 3/4 or just a smaller type foot.
Yeah, or just even run it like not really bumping 3/8 by 1 and just cutting a smaller piece and running the shit out of it with the striker.
I mean, I don't think any of us even considered 3/8 3/4 until after our go And even
we
during
were
the
first- we were
even
first
during the
go.
second go, we went, man, are we the only team that used 3/8x1? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it
it's
was
kinda
just,
like,
it was,
fuck.
oh my gosh.
We were the only team.
Yeah.
That's not ever good.
Where did you guys find out like where you guys placed yet from the draft go and the
The draft day, we got 4th.
And today we got 5th.
5th?
Yeah.
And so
Kinda
that's
about the
like,
same then,
yeah, we probably would have done better if we would have just fucking chose the skinnier section.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
really on top of that, like, our fits were okay considering what we were trying to hide. You know, like
what
really,
were you guys like trying to hide?
our huge section.
Oh, okay.
They're fucking 3/8x1, bro. All this steel we had.
It just looked
Shit,
inside of center to make
What
the
was
fit.
that, Troy?
We just had to fit inside of center to make it look right for the amount of steel that we cut.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Yeah, so you couldn't really fit center and stock.
Yeah. So inside a little bit, otherwise it would have been.
Inside a little bit,
Or
and
outside.
you still almost end up making a bevel.
Yeah, it would have looked like the current rules for AFA certification. Or
Really?
It would or
is
would
that-
not have.
It would have. Like, people are putting 3/8x1 on feet because of the way
so what,
they are
so what
interpreting
we
their.
nailed on, that would have been like
Well, they
10.
would have wanted that, but with the center of stock, so they could have
10.
could have tried to achieve a 10. Yeah,
really that much boxing and that much flat.
it's what I've seen at certifications this year.
And you can't argue it.
Well, you just
Like, it's
you just
there.
got you have to read the rule book and
You gotta measure it.
do the measuring and figure out where they're at. But yeah, I just think people are off topic. But yeah, people are
No,
interpreting.
let's get into it.
They're just I feel they're interpreting it in a weird way and just trying to make it easier. They think they're going to pass by putting a bigger section because it gives them more room to get center of stock or whatever.
More room to cover.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. I think just good horseshoeing is good horseshoeing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around what you're explaining to
no,
me. is all.
so this year the certification guidelines changed, and for a number of years we had 3 fits that we could declare. A candidate would declare before
A, B, or C, right?
yeah, doing the shoeing job, and it went along to how much width and length in the back half of the shoeing there was. And those guidelines were changed where it is a 10, which is the highest score you can get, would be center of stock. So the point of the heel, or the heel buttress, is in the center of the steel. And so you're equally measured from that last piece of weight bearing to the outside section of the steel, to the inside section of the steel, and out to the back end where your end of your heel is. And that would be a 10 for both expansion and length. And so some candidates are trying to give themselves a little bit more wiggle room by using a wider section to kind of just cover the foot. And
But center's still center.
it is still center, but on smaller feet, you end up being so wide to be center of stock. Like you were just saying, we were inside of center
Yeah.
to or outside
So they're
of
basically
center.
rasping away what's kind of out there to make it
Yeah,
look
a
like
little bit.
fits
It just makes for shoeing jobs that
Are not stock appropriate.
yeah. So just for example, we had some people come to the shop to do some practice goes, and so I borrowed some neighbors' horses. And when I went back to go shoe the horses, one of the horses had pretty much pulled all of the shoes off because there was so much steel hanging off on it. And it was a textbook. It was a passing job based on the guidelines, but for like that particular horse, it didn't stand the test of 6 weeks, in a pasture. So, but I go laugh track. That's weird. That's funny.
Well played, Gab. Well played.
Yeah, but like ours today, I mean, because we fit it up a little bit more, following the foot, I think those shoes should stay on during a hurricane.
Oh yeah, we'll find out.
No, maybe not. But our feet were still with the big section, we were still following the foot, but our section was just way too big.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks too, because afterwards, like, our knife work was good, our trims were pretty good, our fucking...
You went with the less is more approach.
Yeah, our nailing was good. Like, our system worked out good. Like, man, we just chose a horrible section, and that caused our guarantee that our fit scores weren't good. Our shoe scores weren't good. Like,
basically why you guys dropped one position in your placing from yesterday to today.
I mean, it would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But you live and you learn, right? So now you have like a little bit more fuel for the next time you go.
Well, you got the experience in the bank after that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what it takes, is that you talk to these other teams, and like, that's even some of those good teams, like, oh, you'll hear them say like, oh yeah, I remember we did that here or something. It's like, so it's like, you gotta fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn, right?
I think if going forward, if we draw a foot, or even personally an individual goal, you draw a foot that's kind of around that 14 and a half mark, where it's that in between section choice. Ask the judge, what would you do? And then, of course, do what they tell you that they would do.
Yeah.
So if the judges today said, yeah, I'll do 3 3/4, I mean, yeah, that would have been a no-brainer. But we didn't ask because we all thought it was going to go on good, and,
Yeah, it's just so stupid not to, like, it sounds so simple. Like, well, why didn't you just ask? It's like, well, because you didn't think about it. Like, also, it's like, first thing in the morning, just like getting there, you're trying to set up, trying to get like a little bit of practice in right before you go. Horse gets let in, then all of a sudden you're kind of like going.
Yeah, the clock started, and we were still cutting steel and scrambling to get ready. So I mean,
you just kind of.
So you guys are kind of behind the 8 ball.
Just a little bit.
There.
I mean, just a little. Yeah, it just seems like you're sitting around waiting, and then the horses come in, and the wind starts going, and the horses don't want to stand still for a little bit because the rain's coming off the tent.
You gotta get going, get the day rolling.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of time for game planning prior to the clock starting.
I see.
And that that's not anybody's fault. It's just what it was. So.
Yeah, live and learn, right? Live and learn. Take it for the next time. Chalk it up like, we made this mistake. We're going to learn from it for the next time.
Yeah, you definitely just put it in the memory bank. Not to do that again. That was dumb.
Yeah. How are you guys feeling about tomorrow then? Are you ready or nervous, or how are you guys feeling?
I think we're about as ready as we can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just always excited to see if, when I'm done making a shoe, if I have nails in the center of stock or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a surprise. I never know what's going to happen. It's like a scratch ticket.
Yeah, so tomorrow's tool and fuller day, in case you didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
And some of us have a problem with it. So I'm not gonna name names. Oh my Lord.
Someone is pissed outside.
Yeah, cars are blowing away out there in Hurricane Ian.
It's pure panic.
Oh, dude, it's been like cop lights nonstop outside.
Really?
I wouldn't say also that we're in like the best area. Like,
what hotel are you guys like staying in?
We're in a Marriott. So,
Courtyard Suites.
Yeah, it's
the hotel's
nice hotel,
the
really.
hotel's nice.
Yeah,
just the
just the areas.
surrounding area.
Be nicer if they had a hot tub.
Be nicer if they had a generator.
Generator.
Yeah, it's really surprised they don't have a generator to like give us some power, but
Seems like every
that
time
is
we're doing a
kinda
podcast
surprising.
with you, we have no power.
No kidding,
that
right?
is so
It's weird.
This is something about like, dude. Even today, like, I thought the whole fucking like tent around the semi was gonna blow away. Like it was,
Really?
It was whipping in the wind like crazy, dude, and a shit ton of water coming off of it.
The stakes were getting
I
pulled
wonder
up.
how like panic like Craig must feel, kind of in that moment.
He never looks it.
Craig's pretty casual.
No.
All just material stuff. It's just things, guys. Don't worry about it. It's just material things. If it all blows away. we'll regroup.
Were you guys
and be
like
back.
horses freaking out any or no? Or are they all good?
They actually what got good when they first came in the morning. Like ours was shaking; it was so frightened. But then it just settled in. Especially when the blowers got going and stuff. And we had really no problem with that horse at all today. And I didn't see really anybody else have a problem with the horse. No. And then later on, when it got really because it built up as the day progressed. And the second go in the afternoon, those horses were standing great. I don't think they wanted to be out in it. They were happy to be underneath the tent. So,
yeah.
And there was some gust,
cover.
like lifting the tent and just popping, just cascading water up on the ground. And I'm like, I'm surprised the horses handled it so well. It was amazing.
It is so crazy always that you like if you showed up at a client's house and they had this this tarp overhanging and they're like just go ahead and set your forage on this old semi truck bed over here. You can just shoe the horse over here. You'd be like, no, I'm going home. This sounds like a horrible plan. But then you come here like, this is so sick. I'm so excited to be here. And for some reason,
underneath this circus tent.
Yeah. For some reason, the horses are just like generally pretty good and stand the whole entire day.
Like
that's
good. That's cool.
The team event goes pretty quick because the horses are only there for 2 hours, and then they get to leave. But like individual contests, that one horse is there all day.
I'd say a solid 5+ hours because each go is 70 minutes. There's a 15-minute turnaround. They were there 15 minutes early, and they're usually there 15 minutes after the last go. So
getting judged.
Yeah, they're there for a while.
It's so shocking that they put up with it like whatsoever. But I think
I'm curious to see like what your guys' horse is going to be like tomorrow. If it's going to have like any foot at all, or if it's just going to be kind of the same where they're all busted up. And
I think we can expect not to have much knife work on the sole.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, we're going to put on 5/8 square.
Maybe.
That's the one.
Watch you guys draw the one horse. It's like gonna need like
dude, don't even start, Gav. No,
bigger.
No,
stop it.
That's literally the biggest scare. Right
yeah,
now.
I like today. Like Troy and I, we were told the salad bowl, the front half of our shoe, which is essentially kind of put it up on edge a little bit, so the inner edge is pulled away from the bottom of the foot, and the leading edge is pulled down towards the outer edge of the foot. And I've never done that with a toe clip before, and definitely not in a contest. I've rockered toe clips before, so it was trying something new. And I wish I could have got a little bit more cup out of it, but it turned out decent. I think fitting up a rocker toe clip is actually pretty hard to do to make it
hard to get flat.
Yeah, just make it look.
Salad bowls are hard to get
to make
flat.
it look right. Yeah, and I actually had a shoe yesterday that had a sprung heel when I turned it in that I did not see because I had fixed a nail right at
Your
the
draft
end.
shoe?
Yeah, my draft shoe. So that was a lovely moment for me. So today, then I'm panicking, like make sure this shoe is flat, and it's of course only the back half is flat to any kind of reference point, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out, is this flat, is it not? So I made sure to take a cold double check, just like the judges were going to do, to make sure that everything was touching where it needed to be.
So did you have like solid wall contact basically from your salad bowl, or was it executed well?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I trimmed amazingly flat today. No, I'm just averagely flat today.
Adam did say that there was a lot of really nice flat feet
on ours horse.
Just in
general,
everybody.
Great. Our competition's catching up to us, Gav.
Yeah,
we need some performance enhancing drugs to get this train up the next level. We need to hire some coaches,
PEDs.
some trainers. I need a dietitian.
Well, next contest we go to that's individual, I'm going to tell Craig, you need to drug test Brian. I think he's doing PEDs.
Yeah, definitely. I've had the last 2 mornings, I've had a cup of coffee, and it has been a godsend.
Tell you what. We found this tiny little diner.
Yeah, Carolina
Diner. And this lady already knows us by name, points us to our booth. Gets
That's
us.
my kind of joint, really.
Oh, dude, she gives us a coffee to go. Like,
Nice.
it's one of the highlights of the trip. That's for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, and all of our food.
that.
I mean, it's been like if Riley would consider himself a foodie, he's just having a moment every time we sit down and eat. So like Troy's been our little Ouija board restaurant finder.
He's
and
the young kid, knows how to work the phone.
on the
Knows how to
GPS
run
Googlenator,
technology.
and he's been finding these local restaurants, and every time Riley's eyes are rolling back in his head, he's just moaning in ecstasy over the food he's eating.
Yeah, I almost ate a whole pizza today for lunch.
Damn.
Dude, it was pretty good. It was
Whole
like
pizza.
It was a legit little like Italian. Like you could barely understand the dude when we first went in there, and it was amazing.
That's because he was Greek.
Well,
No, just
Greek and an Italian joint.
same thing. The dude could make
Riley
some.
doesn't know sign
He made really good pizza.
yeah. He kept trying to sell us a euro. We're like, no, we're here for the pizza, bro. The thing that's the funniest though, there's almost every male server or anybody that has waited on us or like at a counter, like the go-to thing is I got you. And my 16-year-old son's been saying that for the past year, and now it's ingrained as a common phrase in my head. And so I cannot wait to I got you to my boy when I get home, just to make it so he doesn't want to do it again because his dad's doing it. Yeah. Yeah, but it's quite the mix of people here. We went to a restaurant tonight, a burger joint, and amazing burgers. And it felt like must be near some kind of a campus because it was a very diverse,
We are near campus.
very diverse group of young people.
Is it
serving?
kind of similar to like when we were in Chattanooga for the convention, and like we'd go walk around or whatever.
Yes.
There's a lot
yes,
of
it's very, very similar.
Yeah, we
And
went to a taco place last night. They had like a bunch of different types of tacos you could get. They're like, dude, it was
it was like
And we sat outside. It had
urban tacos. They had like some really cool combinations. Like you
macaroni
got
and cheese.
Yeah, I had macaroni cheese on mine. You guys had some like ahi tuna.
with kimchi.
Yeah, I mean it was
It was really good.
It was
Kimchi.
crazy.
You know what kimchi is?
No.
It's like fermented vegetables.
Yeah,
Dude,
I think
it's
I'm definitely not
amazing.
ordering that.
You should. You need some kimchi in your life.
Yeah, come on, dude.
But
It'll
when
turn your skin one shade darker.
We were sitting outside waiting to go inside, and have you ever seen people doing like cool, like really long wheelies on their bicycles and stuff around town?
Oh yeah, Wheelie Boys.
Yeah, dude, there was a wheelie boy. We saw, dude, we saw a wheelie boy, dude, and so
lights.
many lights under the
yes.
cars.
Oh my gosh, they are so
many
into
like
LED lights. Yeah.
chassis lights,
Oh, shit.
wheel lights on their valve stems.
I mean, I'm
Love
gonna go home and
lights.
put some like a drop light, like a puck light in my car,
It was fucking
just to drive
awesome.
around.
It was really cool.
Dang. That would have been sick. Like you seen those videos of like in like New York or all those cities or whatever. There'll be like
Baltimore.
hundreds of like guys on dirt bikes, quads. And
It was
wasn't
like in their Creed
It was
movie.
like that, but just one of them.
downtown. You guys just get caught up in the big old biker gang.
Yeah, exactly.
like,
Dude, it was so cool. I was ready to tip them. I was like, if they
throwing them
drive
dollars.
back by, I'm tipping. I'm tipping the wheel here.
Come back here, Willie boy.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
So so
So you guys sat outside for dinner last night, and then the hurricane's there today.
Yeah, dude. It was like kind of drizzly like last night, and just like kind of crappy weather.
Yeah, it's just like home. It's just like Western Washington, Oregon in the wintertime. It's just that it's called a hurricane.
Yeah, but like today, you know how like when you're just on the coast at home, like it's just fucking windy as shit, and the rain's blowing sideways.
Oh yeah.
That was today.
Damn.
It really wasn't that crazy.
It's kind of crazy that the WCBs always kind of tend to like get these gnarly storms around them when they're having their events.
Dude, storms, but like that's dude, half of the fun of the whole entire trip is just all the rest of the shit. Like the it's only a 2-hour part of the whole entire day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all the rest of the day we're watching Wheelie Boys.
Well, and the nice thing too, like today, we all watched one team, the Men of Steel, do their go, and
who's on that one?
Tom Peterson, Bodie Turnka, Brian Osborne, and Money Chris Madrid.
Yep.
And so just watching their process and how they go through it gives us some insight on things that we can do better. And then they ended up winning it, and so like you kind of see what it takes to be first.
You see the mark a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Like
so,
and especially when you get to watch it in person, you know, like no one's doing minutes at these contests, so you can't just like look up the stats of like what was happening at one point. So you kind of have to be there watching and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, my Farrier trading cards don't have any of that. It's like usually first rookie year stats and
favorite
stuff.
rounding hammer.
Yeah, favorite rounding hammer. Height, weight. Oh my God, that's funny.
But you get to see like some timelines of you're like, well, we all need to have our shoes made by an hour in, you know, and somebody needs to be nailing up by hour 15 or so. Like,
yeah.
So you kind of get.
Is that kind of where they were about ish?
Yeah, pretty much. You had 4 shoes that had nail holes and clips.
They were
at
shoes.
An hour, and then in various stages.
Before an hour.
And various stages of refinement.
And seeing how they split up the vice of like Bodie and Chris completely rasped their shoe besides boxing, I'm pretty sure, before they even trimmed their foot.
Yeah, they had a box, but then they came back and like dialed it in. But yeah, so I'd say solid 80-90% of their vice work was done. And most of it before they even trimmed. Before they even
trimmed.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first shoe out of the fire that was a rough shoe, that went in the vise, and then the second one that came out of the fire that was finished up, that went in the vise, and then the third one that was finished up, which was Tom, he went right to fitting.
Wow.
And then by the time that second shoe was done in the vise, Tom was done fitting, and then he was in the vise. And then those guys that have the guys that had the finished shoes that are cold now, and they have them on their toolboxes, are now trimming their feet and cold checking their shoes to see what they have to do to get pretty much a one-trip fit, and then they're ready to roll. So it was awesome to see that efficiency in a go.
Execution.
Yeah.
It's just huge.
Man, I wish I would have been there to see that. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, there's space next to Troy and on his bed.
Well, I don't think I can get there before the morning tomorrow, so yeah, you'll just have to
you can
tell
watch
me in
us,
another podcast.
You can watch us go ahead, and I don't even want to say it. We're going to draw such a tiny foot, and we do not have a tiny section.
Oh, man. I mean, that's the luck of the draw, right?
It is, but that's going to be the biggest thing, I think, tomorrow, is that a good section on the foot is going to be fucking huge for us, I think.
Yeah.
That's going to be something that could really, really help us out. Maybe get us ahead again. Get us to four, back to fourth.
The Men of Steel, they must have really done good today, because I saw they put on a pile of points on top of Team WCB.
Dude, it was sick.
Today.
Yeah.
So was that fucking nice, huh?
Well, it was nice, and each shoe fit the foot the same,
and not an easy foot.
Yeah, they had hind feet that identified more as front feet. They were using unisex bathroom, and then
you see those pictures of an old war horse. You see those old war horse pictures and stuff, and they're kind of long-necked, shitty, skinny-faced, this weak body, real leggy, and they just got these fucking long pasterns and long feet, and really the front feet are just real forward, skinny frogs, Like that's the horse they had.
Yeah, their width between their heels was maybe 1.25 inches. Like when it was
Dude, super tight.
They were making non-welded egg bars.
Wow, those are the hardest feet.
Dude, like like each guy would like on the front came back to the anvil and like closed it up again.
Yeah, yeah. When Tom went to the foot the first time, I was like, oh man, he's super long. He's this and that, but that's what they had to do to get where they needed to be. And obviously, it was the best shot foot, and they won the whole day. So it kind of just a bit of eye opener. You get a foot like that, that's really technically hard to fit because of how contracted the back half of that foot is, and they nailed it. I mean, just nailed it.
They don't say who got best shot foot on the day
They
yet
do.
till the banquet, right?
Nope, they announced it. It's on the WCB Facebook page. So Tom.
Oh, so they say it at the end of the day then?
Correct. Yeah. So Tom was the best shot today, and Stan Mullen was the best shot yesterday on the drafts.
Oh, okay.
But that's because he's the same
Stan's
size.
on the WCB.
Well, that's because he's the same size as the draft horse, so it just makes sense.
Yeah, he is a stout
Oh my
guy.
lord, he's like Andre the Giant.
They were actually having a little trouble with their horse also, and Stan would ask that horse for the foot twice, and if it didn't give it up, Stan took it away from him. that in itself was worth being there to watch. I mean, they did a great job showing the horse, but that horse refused Stan. Stan was like, no, I'm just going to go ahead and take this foot now.
Yeah, your foot's mine.
I'm stronger than you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, Stan's walking around, and his forearms are bigger than my lower legs. Like, it's insane.
More spine.
Easy.
Says Gumby.
He gets a kick out every time he does that. It's so fun to watch you. You can't see us. We can see you, man.
Well, it's been fun catching up after you guys' first 2 days. You guys get some time tomorrow. Maybe we could catch up again. And
Yeah, I think when we
Talk
get
how
back
it
to the
went.
hotel room tomorrow night, we'll try to do the same thing. We'll hop on again real quick before Brian goes to sleep at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we're going to do a podcast. Maybe do a couple of restaurant reviews, and then
See if you keep the streak going.
Yeah.
see
some sights in
what's
the
next to
area.
eat in
Maybe.
Troy.
yeah.
We'll title this podcast Hurricanes and Wheelie Boys.
Yeah. Nothing about horseshoeing.
Yeah, and we could do like a listener mail-in thing prior to, and it'd be like, what inappropriate things Brian gonna say tonight?
My finger is continually on the mute button.
And I feel like I don't think I've sworn the entire podcast. I think Riley's been dropping the F-bombs tonight.
Hey,
That's why you got. That's why
my
you have,
fucking
That's
podcast.
why you have that's why it's explicit. It feels like going to buy an NWA
podcast. We
record.
can swear.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're the boss.
The podcast we can swear.
Perfect.
Swear.
It's the YouTube thing you can't swear. Is that really a rule?
Yeah. YouTube, their guidelines don't want you mainly to drop the F-bomb. Like, you can say shit no matter how many of times you want, I think, but it's just as soon as you say fuck, you might get a strike for it. Or
Shoot.
you might take
Have you been editing all the fucks out?
No, because we haven't really had that many, and there might be only a couple in there, so.
No one's watching it.
And they're not, like, super loud. But, yeah. Maybe down the road, I might cut in on this one here a little bit.
Well, I don't know how this could
Because you
go.
dropped, like,
How
4
can this-
right in the first minute.
How could this go on to YouTube? Because there's all we see is you. We're just a black screen on the picture in picture there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'll still, you guys popped in every once in a while.
Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
I saw Troy's face a couple times and Riley's
Sweet.
face.
Sweet.
I'll still put you guys on there, and then I'll just put up some of your guys' the pics of you guys' shoes that you sent me, and as we're talking about them.
You ever watch South Park? And they had that, was it like the Terrain and Phillip or something? That was two little the little heads and just their little mouths.
Terrence
and Phillip, right? Yeah. You could just kind of do little cutout cardboard things and do an animation of us sitting around a.
Who's gonna be Mr. Hanky the Christmas poo?
That almost happened.
Who gets to be the guy?
TBA.
Carrying around?
Yeah. You gotta tune in
Who
tomorrow
gets to be the
to
guy
find out, did Brian shit the
wheeling
bed?
around the wheelbarrow full of his balls?
Yeah.
Who gets to be that guy? Me?
That's you, Gavin.
Me?
He has to put the laugh thing.
Well, Jesse did tell me when we were at the not contest, the demo. He's like, man, guys who shoe horses in shorts, like they must have a wheelbarrow to carry around their nuts. I think I cut that out of there actually, but
Good call.
You cut all the good stuff out.
yeah, I kind of did. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to have an apprentice to follow you around with a wheelbarrow to carry your balls if you shoe horses in shorts.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of why I miss having Flint work for me.
What do? You just leave your balls at home now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Faster, more nimble.
Less drag in the water. Rim shot.
Oh, shit. Cool, man. Glad we got to catch up with you. We'll catch up with you tomorrow night after we find out our dilemmas in life and how much we suck ass at it.
Well, just means a little bit more fuel for the fire and get back in the fire and practice tomorrow, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Well, good luck tomorrow. Hopefully the hurricane don't blow you guys away and you guys get some more power.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gav.
Talk to you later.
All right.
See you, dude.
See you guys.
Bye, man.